Okay, back again. So today I was going to show you a flip through of a journal that I call my From Reference journal, and I've decided to make it out of an altered book, and every picture in here is from reference. But first of all, I just thought I'd show you this cover which I made myself. It's a slow stitched cover. If you like, I'll show you how I made it in another video. Just put it in the comments if you would like to see how I made it. It's very simple, and you could make one for yourself for any of your journals. So it's a pre-used book, pre-loved, sorry, that's the better word, pre-loved, and it obviously was Schweppes Office. Schweppes Office getting better. S. Pegg. Not Simon Pegg, the guy that was in Spaced and in the Star Wars movies. Probably not. Anyway, I'll do a flip through now to show you what I've done so far. So, what I'm doing is, with each drawing that I do from reference, I'm putting a photocopy of the reference picture with it. So I'll always have a record of what I used. So you can see this first one is from Raffaello's The School of Athens, and I started this on the 30th of December 2020. With this page I can see that what I've done is I've gessoed it out, and I just left the words "they love" in there. That's that one. Then, well, this is actually a picture drawn from my own drawing as a reference of Kuan Yin. It's not a very good photocopy, but at the time I seem to remember, oh look, 17th of January 2021, I was trying to draw pictures. I was studying Kuan Yin. And again, in this one, I have gessoed out the words and done the drawing there. This page is of my friend Laura and her dog Lucy. And I saw this on Instagram and I thought I'd have a go. And what I've done in this case is, just thinking how I did this, I think I just used watercolours over the top, and I think I put a wash in there just to knock that back, that text. I started off with a graphite pencil, and then I've used white here. Do you know what? I can't actually remember what I used. I think it was mainly watercolours. That was that one. This one, again, I've gone straight in with watercolour, so you can see all the words. And I've tried to draw this beautiful, beautiful painting here. And that was the best I could do. It's an interesting three-quarter face, isn't it? And I put a bit of colour into it. So what have I got here? Oh, I think that's spare. I'll put that back. Oh, this one is of Saint Uriel, the angel. Lots of things have happened. I left that in, but then I've obviously gessoed out the rest, and then I've come in with watercolours again over the top. I've used a bit of liner pen as well, and he's more of a sort of inspiration. I mean, yeah, so that was that one. I'm just going to pause it now because the file will get very long. So this next one is, I've called it the Dryad, the Moon and the Seven-Pointed Fairy Star. So again, I've gessoed out the background, and I saw this fantastic tree. It was a picture on Instagram, I believe, and I just thought it looked like a person. It looked like a witch. Reaching out, I drew. And I quite like drawing a seven-pointed star because it's quite fun, because it doesn't it's a geometric shape that doesn't quite fit into 360, so I find it's quite fun to do. It's not fun to do, it's hard to do actually, but anyway, so I put that there because I quite like geometric shapes, and the seven-pointed star is the fairy star, so I thought it went well with the picture. This is another picture that I've seen on the internet, and I thought that's a striking face, so I had a go at doing it in a sort of monochromatic blue. This had a blue background painted, blue acrylic, and a bit of white gesso as well. And yeah, I quite like the way that one's come out actually. So that was that one. Ooh, this next one, let's see, there's a double page spread. So this is a classic painting by Lorenzo Di Credi, Portrait of a Young Woman. And I've actually had the presence to put down what I used, which is good. I should do that for all of them, shouldn't I? But anyway, graphite and Derwent Graphitint pencils, and they're lovely if you've never tried them. You can't get them as sets now, I believe, or maybe you can, but maybe you can't buy them singly. Anyway, they're difficult. In New Zealand it's difficult to get a lot of art materials anyway, but it makes me think I might try using them again. I haven't used them for a while. So anyway, I tried to draw this painting in, and yeah, had a go at doing the hands. Always good to practice the hands. Oh, I think they're pretty okay-ish. A bit strange finger there, but anyway, it's all practice. What was that one? Oh, this is another one of a friend who is also on Instagram, Leah K. Tord, artist. I've known Leah for years. I've known her when I very first started with Etsy, which was before, oh gosh, it was must have been in 2008. And in those days Etsy was a really sociable place, and there were chat rooms and you could go in and critique each other in a friendly group and all of that kind of thing. And then all of that stopped and it wasn't so much fun anymore. It's still a great place to sell art, and I do have an Etsy shop because I think that the people who are on there appreciate art and they appreciate the work that goes into it. Anyway, Leah is a lovely artist. Go and check her page out. Maybe I should put a link somewhere. I'll put a link when I'm editing the video. And I just saw this picture of her with her healing hands, and I just thought, it's a lovely picture. So that's what I did. I've called it healing, because she does Reiki. And this next one, oh, evacuee children from London. Now, I love this picture. Isn't this just the sweetest picture? The little girl there, they're talking, and she's saying, oh, what's going on there? And they've all got their tags on, and how young they are, and they're being evacuated out of London. Again, I found this one on Pinterest, so it's been an inspiration. I've changed it a bit, and of course I can never quite, my skill isn't there to be able to capture it exactly, but I'm quite pleased with the drawing that I've ended up with. It's quite sweet, isn't it? And yeah, this is using pink gesso background and it's worked quite well, I think. Next picture, another picture from Pinterest. Looks like a 1920s kind of woman with her hair and everything. She became the inspiration for this kind of quite stylized portrait. It says, "I'll come with you." That's what I've left in. But I haven't really, I think I've just used graphite to knock back the text, and then I've outlined it with white Posca, and I've ended up with this. And then this one is a portrait. I don't have the original because this is my cat, Basil. And I got hundreds of pictures of him. I thought what I'd do is one of those kind of like reversed pictures. So the background is gesso, but he's not. And then I just left. So basically I did the drawing first and then I gessoed out the background. It's like negative space. And so you can just see the leaves with little bits of words on. And he was looking worried. So that's why I did that. Well, that's Basil. Very, very difficult to draw cats, I believe. Yeah, and it is for me too. So, yeah. I quite like that picture though. Next one, another picture that I saw on Pinterest, and I just loved her glasses. So, and she's a very pretty girl, so I thought, well, I'm going to try and draw that face. And again, I've ended up with quite a stylized face. It's white gesso in the background and then graphite, and just a little bit, the only thing I coloured in was the lips and the sunglasses. So. Oh yes, the next one is an American Indian, First Nations person. Very difficult to draw. But I love that face. That's an amazing face. So I was drawn to try to draw it, and that's my attempt, which is white gesso background and using graphite pencil and smudge paper stump to smudge in and what have you. Yeah, I think I've caught something of him, but not really. But that was my attempt anyway. This one is Regina Spektor. Who she is. And I love her music, and so I thought, yes, that's an interesting pose, and so I attempted it and ended up drawing quite a cartoony kind of thing with the hair, and yeah, it's quite good fun. Next one is a classical lady. Funny Beatles. I just left that in because I thought it was odd. This is a very curious painting, isn't it? It's got she's holding this little sort of baby unicorn, and there's probably symbolism about it. I think at the time I looked it up, but I haven't written anything down, have I? It's Portrait of a Woman. I'm not quite sure who did it, but they always used to put symbolism. As I think, if I remember rightly, this started off with a different symbol there, and this has been painted over as a unicorn. Anyway, I just like the idea of it, a little baby unicorn, and trying to imitate these forms is all good practice. And what I've done is I've used pink gesso background, and I've used watercolour pencils over the top. Here he is again, the Basil. I have two cats, Basil the tabby, and he's got these funny eyes. They always have this kind of like, he's like frowning or something, and or he's upset or something. But this one is Mace, and he's a Maine Coon, and he's always very chilled out asleep. So they're sort of like opposite characters. This one's very lively and quite naughty actually. I've never known such a naughty cat. And this one's very, very chilled, soft as butter really, that one. This is Cate Blanchett. I think she has a beautiful face, and I saw this picture and I thought I'd have a go. And I think she looks more like Uma Thurman now. I've done something wrong somewhere. I think, yeah, looking at it now I can see maybe she needs a bit more chin. Maybe the eyes aren't quite right. Yeah, but that was my attempt. I did it in graphite pencil with a paper stump, and I've gone over the top with white charcoal to highlight. Here's another one, which is from a vintage photograph on Pinterest, and she's been the inspiration for this version of her. And I also put in a Luna moth because I love Luna moths, and I must have been drawing in one at the time, so I just drew that in the top. I don't know about you, but I sometimes will draw a portrait of a face that interests me, and then I think, oh, I've got to fill in the rest of the picture, and I'm never quite sure what else to put in. But that's what I did that time. This one was a picture I saw on the internet, and I don't have a photocopy of it now. I should have made one at the time to stick in, and I didn't. But it was an amazing picture of this old woman, and she had a cat on her back and shoulders, and it was making that pose, looking fierce. And I just thought it said everything about Ukraine, and so I copied it. When faced with a bully, you have to fight. Gosh, that was in, oh my goodness, that was in June 22. So that's how long it's been going on. Terrible. Oh, no, we're not at the end yet. So, another vintage photograph, and that's what I ended up with. The Gypsy, I've called it. Because I think what I'm trying to do more of is I'm trying to do more figurative, so I'm trying to include a bit more bodies sometimes. I think I'll always just be drawn to creating faces, but sometimes it's good to try and get bodies in as well. I've got a spare page there, haven't I? This was from an old painting. The original was Madonna and Child with the infant St. John, and I don't know who it's by. Well, that's what I ended up with again. Well, now this one is white gesso, or it might be pink gesso actually, and then I've used acrylics over the top to create that one. I saw Whisker on the page, so I left it there, and I thought, well, I've got to draw Basil again. There he is. This is another picture of my friend Leah, and I made this portrait of her. This is white gesso background, and I think this is Tombow felt tip pen, and then this is watercolour on the hair, and then I went over with liner, and then I went around it with Posca. and it's interesting because now this has become something I do quite a lot. I like going around the edges, so this is feeding in. So this was in, so hang on, this was in 2022, and then there was a huge gap, and this was in January 24. So yeah, I had a bit of a gap there. And I think this is coming up now. Yep, this is my most recent one, which is in July 2024. This picture here was created by AI on Adobe. I've got an Adobe account, so I can use these various things, and one of them is, I think it's called Firefly, and you can tell it what you want and it interprets it. And this is what I got. I had to ask it a few times, something like looking up the trunk of a tree to the sky, and I called it an aspen tree in the autumn or something like that, and it created this. I just thought it was really beautiful, and a beautiful way to look at a tree. So then I thought, well, I'm going to try and draw that, and that's what I came up with. I think I'm going to try again because I'm not satisfied with that really. Yeah, what I'd like to do is make the leaves more defined. And the other thing that I found was that I had white gesso, but the pencil that I used kept smudging, and when I came to paint it with watercolours, it was like dirtying it. The graphite was dirtying the paints. So I might try that again, maybe using different materials. So, oh look, you can see that might be one I'm going to do. But what I've done, I've coloured these orange and blue. So I think I'm going to have to draw my these next portraits are going to have to be drawn with white charcoal outlines perhaps, and then filled in using acrylic. So anyway, I hope you have enjoyed my flip through. I suppose I'm about a third of the way through this book, and I'm just really enjoying doing it this way so that I can always look back and see what I was drawing. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you again. Keep on arting.